What's your
Yes.
feeling about including the residents of a suspected drug house in neighborhood watch?
About including them in the neighborhood watch? I say bring them on in. Let them know that they're being watched. Keep your friends close and your drug houses closer. I mean, you know, that's up to you. I don't think that it necessarily is a bad idea to bring them in. We're all a neighborhood, and hey, I guarantee if they know that people are out there watching and being vigilant, they're probably going to be more cautious about what they do.
Change that. Or they're going to hide it because they know what you're telling them to look for.
At the same time, it's pretty hard to hide some of the stuff that they're doing. So I think the reporting is going to be extremely important. I mean, you be as cautious as you need to be about that, but I doubt that they're going to be the ones as the neighborhood captain in your area either. So maybe your liaison should kind of keep an eye on that too. But no, I mean, you're going to see it. Our neighborhoods are small and they're close, so we don't have a lot of areas where you can say, oh, this is the safe part of Lahana, this is the bad part. There's a lot of houses that are mixed into our areas that we may not think are the safest place to be. But working together, we're gonna show them that we're watching everything, and I think that's a big deal. So you've never seen them before. They kind of creep through the neighborhood, talk to the children. Abandoned cars, we want those reported. Any unusual activity in isolated areas, we need to know about that stuff. This is all the stuff that I was talking about can be reported, not just to your liaison officer, but also to the police department. If you're seeing stuff like this, we encourage you to call the police department right away. Your liaison officer may not be on duty at the time, and sometimes these things are time sensitive. So definitely report this as soon as you can.
How long does it take for a car to be abandoned?
So generally speaking, 15 days is what we use as an abandoned vehicle warning.
Actually, she'd like to have you aware, thank you, Mr. Councilman there, and the rest of the council. They helped us adopt the same amount of time as Grand Junction. So it's went from 15 days till we can remove the vehicle to 72 hours. So we go put a notice on, 72 hours, we can go get that picked up, get it off the street. But it has to be, like if it's sitting there and it's licensed, up to date, tires are up, everything's in working or appears to be in working order on it, then there's usually not much we can do about it other than try to find out who it belongs to. Does it not belong in that neighborhood? Maybe it was a stolen vehicle that wasn't reported yet, so call those in. But we do have a good program working on those. The code officer yesterday met with the judge and signed 32 search warrants to go on properties and tow vehicles off. And it wasn't that he just did that many in that week or at that short time. Our judge has been off on vacation, so council's allowed us to hire an interim judge, but he'll only come in once a week. So and we need to get a lot of them in to afford to have that judge come in. So he put 32 together within a week. But normally he probably does close to that, but they're scattered out because he'll get the notice, he'll get the warrant to go get them. If they're on the public street, we don't have to have a warrant. Technically, with our municipal ordinance, we don't have to have a warrant to walk on property to get them if we can see them from a public place like the street. But we like to get that warrant because then if you have an argumentative person or something, so you've got a piece of paper here signed by a judge, we can argue this in court. We're not going to argue in the street, but we're going to be taking your vehicle. So I hope that kind of answered some of that. But yeah, if it doesn't belong there, let us know. Yours, I think I was observed, so back in the late 90s, there was a vehicle that sat for 2 or 3 weeks here in town. Finally, somebody called it in, and it ended up being a vehicle that was used in a homicide in New Mexico. So, call those in and we can run that plate.
I think that's probably what my question should have been. How long before you call one in?
If it's a strange vehicle in your neighborhood that you've never seen before, I would recommend call it in immediately.
Okay.
Yeah, and hey, worst case scenario, it's documented date and time of when we went and checked that vehicle out, and we make sure that it's clear or whatever. But Best case scenario, and find out, hey, maybe it is a vehicle of interest that we need to get in right away. I have personally handled many a recovered stolen vehicle by a citizen calling in saying, hey, this car has never been parked in my neighborhood. I don't know why it's in front of this house. Can you come check it out? Vehicle comes back stolen. Personally, several times. So I say call it in right away. If you think it's suspicious, we'll come check it out on the plate. If it's not, great. We'll wait a couple days and see if it's still there. And I apologize, I was not aware of that. So that's great. That helps out speed things up a little more, and that's definitely a good thing for our community. In reporting crime, remember to stay calm. It's important to try and not panic as much as you can. Call the police immediately. We recommend that you call us right away, because even if it's nothing, we can stand down. If it's something, then we're there a little bit quicker. So call us right away. On the phone, be prepared to give the most important information first, like the type of crime, where it's at, whether there are injuries, if you know where the criminal went. Those things are extremely important right off the bat. And our dispatch is trained to try and ask those as well and help you out. Don't be surprised if they're asking you questions like, what's your name? What's your callback number? Those things are important to us because sometimes the phones go down. We may need to contact you again and find out what exactly did you see, because our officers don't have enough information to move forward yet. We need to talk to you directly. So don't be afraid to give that information. Just because they're talking to you on the radio or on the phone doesn't mean they're not talking to us on the radio. So they are really good at multitasking. And even if you're thinking like, hey, get off the phone with me and send those guys, they're probably already sending us, and we're headed to the location. We got a great system. We use a computer automated dispatch system where that dispatcher is typing information in, and me as an officer on patrol, I'm watching my computer screen that's popping up. All the details are coming to me as you're giving them to her. She doesn't even have to talk to me on the radio necessarily. So don't think that we're wasting time. We're working through that, and it's working well. So just try and answer their questions as best as possible and give them as much detail as you can. Sometimes it helps to write down what you saw and heard immediately. As you guys know, when time goes on, things can get lost in your memory. Try and describe the suspect as best you can. The things we're looking for are listed up there. If you've got a vehicle that's involved, anything at all can help. Color, make, model, whether it's a car like a sedan or a truck or an SUV, those things are helpful. Like I talked about earlier, any special features, dents, dings, decals, where it left to, did it sound any specific way. You may be asked to make a complaint, or what it would sound like on the phone probably is, are you willing to sign? Are you willing to sign a complaint? If you are, that helps us out a lot. Like the chief was talking about earlier, and I was as well, we need to have that cooperation with our community, and we understand that sometimes you don't want to put your name out there. It can be intimidating, it can be scary, but we didn't see it happen. So we need you. We rely on witnesses and witness testimony to help us in getting these cases prosecuted and criminals off the street.
Does it help if you have like your neighborhood watch and you call your neighbors and say, are you seeing what I'm seeing, instead of one person having to sign the complaint? Now you have 5 people. You know, you have a lot more
Strength in numbers.
Yeah, a stronger resolve to.
Yeah, a lot more witnesses and more people that know what's going on. Definitely helpful. I would recommend that you not call them instead of the police or before the police. Get us started and then call your group and start working through that for sure. Try and stay safe and do that the best you can. Yeah, that's absolutely helpful.
Just to kind of help you guys understand with the multiple witnesses, we have to put together the stories and find out what's common. So Dave and I are sitting in a car at a stoplight, and Dave says, did you see that red car run that light? And I was looking over here and I look up and I see that red car going down the street. Did I see it run the light? No, but I verify what Dave saw so we can put
The
that
red
together.
card.
So we got different perspectives, you may see it at different times, different angles, but we can put all that together by talking to everybody that saw the incident. So keep that in mind, just because I didn't see him run it, it's still important that I did see the car in the area, and Dave did see it.
The most important thing that we need from you is for you to be a good witness. We're not asking you to get involved or try and intervene. We need good witnesses. So that's what we'd like to try and help with these neighborhood watch programs. If we can educate you guys on what things we need to help better strengthen our cases for court, then I think it helps us as a community as a whole to work together to prevent those criminals from getting away with stuff. Working on organizing your program, we've already talked about most of this. Your coordinator is that that leader who's got people skills. They've got kind of a pulse on the whole community. That's somebody that you want to maybe rotate through. Maybe you're happy with keeping the same one. That's up to you. They're going to work to expand and sustain your program. They keep a list of all the participants, arrange meetings and training, all that stuff. They're kind of the top leader in that. They'll be responsible for those following things. But really, as you work in your own neighborhoods, it's up to you how you want to do that. Maybe your captain only does a couple of these things and there's other people helping do the rest. So you can modify this however you need it to be for your area and however works for you. Definitely want to make sure that that person has the position in their mind as a civic duty and not some type of a personal gain or power trip where they're the block captain. So if your block captain, like Shirley, starts making you salute her, trying to get it together. We talked about this already. Rotate through, get everybody involved in the program. Build that participation. Even your kids can get involved in this. And my thought on that is, man, if you can involve them when they're young, think about the things that they'll do when they're older. How important this could be to them, the benefits that they'll see. Especially with today's youth too, right? We get them out of the house, off the phones, away from the televisions. There are a lot of resources out there, so don't feel like you're limited. I mean, it's endless how many possibilities. The only thing that can limit you is what you can think of. So anything that you want to bring into this, you can bring in. There's a lot of different programs out there that will support your program. You guys kind of read through. I don't want to bore you by reading all of these, but if you definitely think that this will be helpful to you, you can get with me and I'd be happy to provide details on the different positions or the resources available. Just kind of showing you guys some ideas.
Mitch is now our investigator or detective, so he's Monday through Friday other than call-outs. So where before when he was a watch commander on a shift, he may be working nights, when people would be sleeping, and so he's available, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and so he'll be a great asset. That's kind of why he's always helped run this, but I want him to run it now because he can be there.
And for the block parties where they have food.
And I'm there for that too.
I go as well.
The chief said I like to talk a lot, so he stuck me up here, so I'm good coming out. Yeah, don't limit yourself. There's even your local printing company may be able to help you out. Sign giveaways, those types of things. Local media for publicity. I mean, there is there is an endless amount of resources. We got a lot of great people in our area that are willing to help with that and really do a good job with it. Another idea is having citizen patrols, not vigilante patrols with shotguns and pitchforks, okay? But, hey, you can travel your neighborhood, alert the police to any concerns you have. If you want to talk about citizen patrol, talk with us about how they might work in your area and what might be a good idea. But just like we tell our officers, sometimes the best things that you can observe are when you park your car, get out and walk the street. You see and you hear a whole lot more when you're there on face to face and on foot walking around. So patrols are a great thing, and we can help you guys look at what that might look like in your area as well. Sharing patrol duties can help out if that's something that you choose to do in your area, because it can get a little overwhelming if you're out doing it every night, depending on how strict you are about those types of patrols. This operation identification is a burglary theft prevention program. Involves marking or engraving property that you own. This is something that we can talk in more detail about with your liaison officer. This is something that we would recommend you implement soon. If you own a business like a construction company, mark your tools. If you've got property inside of a garage or something, like televisions or things that have serial numbers on them, take pictures of that stuff and keep record of it. Those identification of items are really helpful for us, because we have police databases where property is stolen from you and you can identify specific things about it, like the serial number on a laptop or TV or a tool that you have. We can run those when we find them in the back of a car on a person we had stopped during a drug bust or something. We can run those items and see if they're stolen. So the more information you can provide to us, like color, serial number, model, make, all that stuff is very beneficial. If you want more information for your neighborhood watch program, get in touch with me and I'd be happy to get that for you, or your liaison officer. Any questions you guys have?
Now, there's no financial membership necessary for this, is there?
Correct. There's no financial responsibility for this program whatsoever. You are welcome to run it how you need to you don't have to put up signs if you don't want to. They're beneficial. We think they're a good idea, but you are not required to put those up. So there's really no financial obligation. And a lot of times you can get support from local businesses to sponsor some of that too.
I'd like to say something about signs. Years ago, I worked in security alarm companies and I did security guard type work. And one of the things that they found, and this was back in the 80s, that they found that people would put up signs that would say electronically protected or that kind of stuff. That was a deterrent on its own. And so those signs, they matter. That could be just the thing that you need to keep something from disappearing in your garage, or something like that, just by having some signs around.
Yes, definitely a big help.
I got.
Yes, sir.
What is the actual curfew time at City Park?
City Park closes, and all parks close at 10 p.m.
10 p.m.?
10 p.m.
I know, because I live right there across from City Park. And man, there's still like 2, 3 in the morning, people hanging out there at the basketball courts, loud and all that. But, unless they're doing something actually stupid, I kind of don't go that way. I'm not going to call you guys and bother you guys because a bunch of kids are getting stupid, or being loud or whatever. But now, once I get involved with my neighborhood and start going to them, and if it's starting to bother them, then we'll do, we'll call you guys or whatever to look into it. But
there's a good reason for curfews. And, you know, what did mom always say? Nothing good happens after 10 p.m. So there are good reasons for curfews, and we'd be more than happy if you see that to come out and tell them to leave the park. We have had issues with people camping there and stuff like that too, trying to get them to move along, move out of the park.
I know they do. Kids, I guess, will be kids, but they chase around each other around the trees at the park.
Sure.
And it sets my dogs off.
Right.
You know, and so I try to keep my dog inside because they're gonna call the cops for my dog barking. He won't bark unless he hears or sees something going on, because he hears it inside the house and he goes crazy in the house, so I know there's something going on out there.
Right.
He's a pretty good alert dog, so.
It's good to have that. Put him on the neighborhood watch program in here.
Huh?
Put him on the neighborhood watch program.
He's there, he's probably the first one there.
Yes.
So public intoxication, I was talking to Chief about that, if they're out in the street, you know, that breaks the law, I guess, or whatever.
Right.
But I've seen a lot of that kind of stuff going on, you know, and I didn't know. And parking in the alleys and things like that, that's another thing to call. So maybe if we get together again in another meeting, if you guys could get a little list, a short list or whatever, you know, here's some good things to spot, because I know when I first was calling you guys, I didn't know exactly what I was seeing, you know, live and let live and all that kind of stuff, you know, but what do you do and,
Right.
and what do we know and all that kind of stuff. Things are pretty different, you know, and everywhere you go, but that would be helpful, I think, for maybe at a senior lunch or something in August, or next time we get a meeting together, that, you know, we got something that we can, you know, hey, this is something we should.
Actually, maybe
report
just
on.
printouts from what we've seen there. It has a lot of information on there.
Yeah. I'd be happy to
Or
put together
things that
some.
you guys want us to look for too, that would be good too, you know.
Sure. Yeah, what we like to see from you guys. Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing too, like, we're gonna be out there trying to, as best we can, prevent any major criminal episode. Sure, there's things that we see sometimes that, you know, we may be on our way to a call that's got a more important criminal thing, that somebody's getting hurt right away. We may ignore something, but we wanna know what's important to you. Those things are really important to us. So those are great. If we can share that information, we can put together some things that might help us do our job better, and you guys get us some information on what you'd like to see a change in your community, and we'd work together to try and make that happen for sure. And those are great things too, when you get a watch program in your neighborhood, to have your liaison officer start. Bring in the meetings. What can we do? What can we help with? What do you want to see from us as well?
So what can be done or is being done about all the people living under the bridges that are, you know, pitching tents and camping out and hanging around businesses and...
Yeah. Well, if they're on private property, which would be hanging around the businesses and stuff,
Right.
if the business doesn't want them there, we can have them removed, as long as it's not, you know, a public area. But if they're on private
Right.
property, that's something we can definitely help with. I'm not sure if
Some
the
public lands are tough. Luckily, the city on the new trail adopted that whole arroyo from 10th Street all the way down to 1st Street as a park. So they can't camp there, they can't be there in there after 10 p.m. So that's helped us enforce that. Some of the others, if it's just a danger, like the one that caught fire, things like that, we can get in there and try to get those cleaned up. And the city's been really great about getting in there right away when we find them and getting the stuff hauled up. But we got to be very careful with that. There is, you know, constitutional rights. Tent is considered a home, so we have to be very careful with what we do. But if they're violating one of our ordinances, like camping in those specific areas, then we can have them, you know, pick up their stuff and move on. That kind of helps answer your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Just a little bit on that, the city council is awaiting the Supreme Court decision. It's Grants Pass, Oregon versus Johnson. The Ninth Circuit Court made a ruling that basically said that transient sleeping in public areas is not a crime, it's a victimless crime. Grants Pass, Oregon took a homeless person to task, had him removed, And that has made it all the way up to the Supreme Court, and we're still awaiting that decision. It was, I know the court heard the argument about a month ago, but they haven't rendered a decision. So as a city council, we really can't make a decision over public camping on city property at that point, with the exception of parks, because that's already an established statute within the state. So that's what we're waiting on.
Thank you.
I think it was that same ruling, Paul, where the judge talked about sleeping in public is the same as your right to breathe.
Yes, so that's the Ninth Circuit.
Yeah.
And I won't say too much about that.
Yeah. So that's what we're fighting with that.
So, that being said, if they're on, if you're seeing people on your private property that you don't want there, your local businesses have them on private property, that can be a different situation where we have them removed. And when it comes to public property, we're gonna follow, what we have to when it comes to the Constitution. We don't wanna violate somebody's rights in that regard, so.
Where does the abandoned property fall at? Does that fall with you guys or
So like you're talking about maybe a lot that doesn't have.
with a house that's been abandoned and stuff that,
So, what we
just-
try and do is get a hold of the property owner to find out, hey, is anybody supposed to be on your property? And I would say 99% of the time, they're telling us, no, nobody's supposed to be on that, and that can help us to remove them. The struggle that we have is when it comes to properties that are owned by a company in Florida or a bank in, Tennessee, and then we have some more issues there. But we do try to do the best we can to make sure that they're not staying there. And then there's a whole bunch of other things that we can look at too, where we might involve the health department if they're living on that property, is there water, things like that. So
That's
we
what I'm
do
saying.
what we can.
I don't know if any of you guys have that problem around your guys' area, but the squatters and stuff, and we're seeing a lot more homeless people that are starting to move their way in and stuff, and, it's,
Let us know if you're seeing that too, because we understand that's a concern for the community. And like I said, we live here too, so our houses are next to those that have those. We don't want that.
I know.
Health issues.
Probably about a month ago, I guess, we had one homeless person, I guess, that was sleeping in the alley on that abandoned area by the garage, and so then my dog caught it, because he took a mattress from the neighbor and a carpet. Well, he was laying on the mattress underneath the carpet. So my dog went out there and was barking like crazy. We couldn't get the guy to move. We yelled and yelled. It wouldn't move. So we went ahead and called you guys, to get him up and going. That's what they did. They woke him up, sent him on his way somewhere else. I don't know, But it was just something that we've been watching and seeing, that there's a lot more of that homeless people traveling through the alleys and stuff. So just keep a lookout for that, because they're out.
Yeah, let us know in the city, the last few years through the engineering office has been working on those abandoned properties. They still have to find, who owns them. They work with them to try to get them to sign them over or fix them. If they sign them over to the city, then they get grants and things, tear them down, clean the property up, and then has a lot to sell back to help kind of recoup some of the money.
Right.
And I don't have any numbers on that right now. Do you, Paul?
There was 11 at one time.
Yeah.
But it kind of dwindled.
But I think the city engineer's office could probably point in the right direction on what they've got going. But they are actively working. I think they've probably done over 40 houses in the last 10 years.
Oh, easily. And the ones that get priority are usually the burned houses, because obviously homeless people will settle in, light a fire when it's cold, that residence burns down, now we have to do that. But what costs money, and it can cost anywhere from $60,000 to $250,000 is the asbestos abatement to get that done there. So it's not like we can roll up, tear down a house.
Yeah.
There has to
And I think that's what scares me a lot, is because, like, some of the properties, like wintertime, the old one where the squatters were living in there, burnt it down, that historic across from, right there on Steen.
Yes.
On that corner, and that's what scares the hell out of me, is they're gonna get in there and do the same damn thing. So, I keep an eye out every day I go.
Good.
But
Thank you. Yeah.
And if you're having concerns with those abandoned houses being occupied and those types of things, please do call us and we can start that process. I know for sure that our supervisors have reached out to the engineering department before when we've had repeat calls and said, hey, this is one you might want to look at, and the city's done a good job of helping with that. So let us know. We'll start that as quick as we can. Any other questions? Great. Well, I did have my email up there. We'll put it back up after this. That's probably the easiest way to contact me, but like Chief just gave you guys my work schedule, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 right now. So if you see me not working during that time, harass me. But please do, call and I'll try to answer questions. My email's up there. If you've got a question that doesn't need answered right away, I'll get back to you. I promise I will, as soon as I get time.
I'll put that right back up. I just wanted to show you guys this. The city is getting a website for the whole city. This will be a link on theirs. We have our own. We thought it was important to have this. You can see some of the things. One thing sitting in this meeting I noticed, we need to have a neighborhood watch link. Colby Martinez, he was a dispatcher. He's now our code officer. He's going to be becoming an officer in the next academy. He does these, so he did help us do this, and it's pretty good at low cost. So we'll keep this up. We're in the process, the blotter there, getting that hooked up to our report system so we can automatically populate it in. So it's a work in progress right now, but it's lahanapolice.org. So kind of watch that. That'll have things. It talks about code red. You know, a lot of you, I don't know if you got code reds in here tonight about the storm, how to get hooked up with those things. The city code and charters on there. If you have a question on what can happen or not with junk vehicles, houses, whatever, it's got a search engine. You put in a keyword and it'll start popping up a bunch of stuff you can find out for yourself. Road conditions, that's hooked to the state. Our police in the parks on there that we do every year, and we're going to be doing it again this year on the second Friday.
I believe so.
Yeah, it might even be on here. But come out to that. We do hot dogs and hamburgers, and the kids can play. Yeah, we don't have the 2024 on there yet, but so we have a lot of stuff going on here, and I thought it would just be a good place to have that. If you can have any suggestions for us on that or anything, please let us know. Contact button on there on how to contact us. Talks about some questions that some people may have. Report all life-threatening emergencies, dial 911, some tips like that. So it is a work in progress. We hope to get it going a lot better soon. So just letting you know that's out there. And we will get Neighborhood Watch on there, so you guys can check that out once. And maybe we can put this PowerPoint on there or a PDF that you can download.
I was thinking those tips you guys were talking about would be a great thing to put on there, so get working on that.
Yeah, I'll get you that.
I think you'd be good candidates for your Citizens Academy.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
The Citizens Academy tab on there,
That's right.
where you can sign up.
Yeah, that might be a great way to do it, an online site.
For a while when he was in dispatch, we were letting him work on it in there between answering calls, but now that he's doing code, we got to find him time to get that, just
So I don't really have anything. Oh, now we're all the way at the end. I don't really have anything more tonight. There's my email up there. If you guys want to write it down, you're welcome to email me at any time. We do have some gifts to give away, some prizes.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to help me do that.
Yeah, a little, and I have a question too, Chief. Did you talk about a Crime Stalker type program?
Oh, yes, and we talked about that in council, and actually Councilman Velasquez actually made a motion a while back, and the attorneys were kind of holding that up, but we've got that back on the table. And thank you, for helping with that. So that'll help. It's an organization that'll put up rewards for tips that lead to arrests and convictions. So
We'll have some ideas that we might be able to help fund that.
okay.
So, talking with the guys at the sign shop, they have hats, they have T-shirts and things like that. We need to get a committee, but an idea could be like I Love Lahana or Lahana Matters or the Arkansas Valley, however big that place is, and there's a set cost, per T-shirt, and then after that we would take donations, and those donations would go right in to fund it. So you could have immediate funds, really quickly available funds for, whatever we want to decide, like, for fentanyl trafficking or whatever the problem is that we want to deal with as a community decision.
That's a great idea, and I don't know, what do you think, Paul, having come before council and get council involved and the attorney?
There's definitely the attorney involved, because anytime there's fundraising.
Yeah, but we would need like a bank, and I think it would take a lot of people, so we can have a good audit on everything. But, if you had a business in town, it's Joe's Coffee Shop and Lahana, they're making their part of the community well-known. And I think that would be good too, and get the Chamber of Commerce and that kind of stuff going. But everybody could have a piece of that and wear that, with pride for our community. But anyway, that was one idea. And another idea, I used to be in an Optimist club, and we used to do walks, kind of like a run or a walk or whatever, but they would generate a pretty fair amount of money. And we could do that same kind of stuff. There's a lot of young minds in town here that we could, help along. Any kind of things like that we could help develop the community that doesn't always come along with, the budget money. So
I'm listening to you, I'm just taking notes.
but maybe there's some more things that we can get the community involved with. So, but I think we need more meetings. We got rained out a little bit tonight, but I think if you guys are game, I think we could do that and keep on the radio and keep it going, and maybe we can do a little bit more. But I know there's a lot of people that are really wanting to be a part, and
Absolutely.
for whatever reason they weren't here tonight. So,
And we appreciate you, pushing this and getting this
I
ball
didn't.
rolling. That's what we need everybody to do.
Yeah.
Talk to your neighbors and spread the word.
So we got some signs here.
Yeah, as you come up to work on those, just real quick to kind of wrap up everything. If you're interested in a neighborhood watch program in your area, you have my email address. Let me know. I would be happy to get you resources, information, get you in touch with Shirley if you need to talk with her, have some questions. I'd be happy to do that. So please email me your information, let me know what you've got. But the next step from here, where do I go from here, Mitch? The next step would be to get your community, your neighborhood together, your area, whatever that neighborhood looks like to you, whether it's 2 blocks or the apartment complex, whatever. Get that area together on board and plan the first meeting. You guys start doing that on your own, and you're good to take off from here. You have the resources that you need to get that started. So if it's you that heads that up, great. Or if you bring this information back to your neighborhood and assign somebody else to do that, great. But from this point forward, where do I go from here? You go ahead and start it on your own and let us know that you're interested in getting that started, and we will get your block liaison, your officer assigned, and just keep us in the loop on what you want to do, and we'll get them there, and we'll get our officers there. We'll start the program for you, or start our side of the program for you. But you guys kick it off from here. So if you have any questions, though, feel free to email, call me. Other than that, let's start with some prizes.
Okay.
Can we do one more ticket back here?
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, and I'm sorry. I think you got a question. I never answered.
On your Hunter Police Facebook page,
Yes.
there's contact information. Do you think in that contact information you could also add like the lahontapolice.org website and maybe a non-emergency phone number? Just
Okay.
in that contact info. It'd be real easy to just add it there and it's quick and find for everybody.
I'm not sure how much we're using Facebook right now because we've had some issues with the content coming across the page. But I will talk with the chief, see if we can't figure something out. Otherwise, this would, or the website that he showed you would probably be the best way to keep up on certain things right now. Any type of major incident that we are pushing out via media right now is being helped out by Seco News. So I don't know that we'll be continuing Facebook at this time.
It popped back up, I've noticed that too. It was shut down, and I don't know if it automatically comes back up after a certain amount of time, or if somebody hacked it. So we'll get somebody that knows a little more than us on that and see if we get it figured out. But I did notice too that it's back up, and we shut it down over a year ago. So right now, this should be the only thing we have is the hunterpolice.org.
I'll take a look at that.
Okay, thank you.
So I just got a couple of questions for everybody. Did everybody get anything out of this tonight? Was it good? All right, and would you guys like to hear from the sheriff or the district attorney or other people like that on what's going on and how things are going, and, you know, bounce off ideas and concerns and that kind of stuff with them, have a talk with them? If we could put something like that together.
I personally think if you have a meeting like this in this location, maybe every so often you'll begin to draw the crowd.
I think so. And I'd like to do that too. I know a lot of people I talk to, you know, they get their neighborhood watch going and then, you know, somebody moves or this happens and that happens, it kind of falls apart. But I think if we had a kind of a regular recharge, you know, and get to see the folks in the police department and so forth, that would be good for us, you know. I talked to Bob Fowler too, and he may be interested maybe in August or something, like give us a talk on fentanyl and that kind of stuff. You know, what to do if we see it, or, you know, what to do so we don't, it's very serious, it can kill you quickly. And so there's a lot of things that we could, you know, take advantage of, I think. And I think it would be good for those guys to let us know what they're up against too, because we're voters, you know, and we have a lot of effect over, you know, the governor and things like that too, that we can, you know, say, hey, this isn't working. We need a new view, a new approach, a better solution, or a change in the solution. I think it's going to start with us. So, but anyway, I think we can work on that. So here's what we have. We have some signs that may or may not be very durable in Colorado weather. So the wind, you know, the sun, these are yard signs. So how about we do that? Mitch, you want to draw some numbers?
Oh man, make me the bad guy.
I think we have enough. I think we have enough for everybody, but we'll have to see.
All right, I've got number 853-6175.
Woohoo! You're over here. All right, thank you. So, nice yard sign.
Oh, thank you.
Put it in a sunny spot.
Call another one here. 853-6180.
182? Yeah. Right here.
All right. Like Eric, I knew you were.
I'm working my way around the room. Let's see, 6184.
All right.
I'm trying.
The wind might get it, but
6183.
That's probably Paul.
We live at the same place.
All right.
I'll take one.
Yeah.
6179.
6179?
That's what I was gonna say.
All right.
You? All right. We got more.
Got a couple more signs here. We've also got some stickers, I understand.
We got window signs too. Everybody will get a sign.
6174.
That'd be me.
All right, Al. There you go. Nice yard sign.
6181.
All right. One more.
One more sign to give away. 6177.
Missed it by one.
Got one here?
Well, so if you guys didn't get one of these signs, they have them at the sign shop, and they donated a whole bunch. So look at all these. Everybody, these are window signs. Would you guys all like to have some, or whoever didn't get a sign, or would you like one on some of your windows? Okay. Okay. So you may have some neighbors too.
Great deterrent having those signs out there.
So we're gonna give some of these to you too, so when you actually have to go out on a call and you say, hey, you should be in the neighborhood watch, here's your sign.
There you go. We'll force them into the neighborhood watch program.
We have big ones, we have some small.
But seriously, we'd like to keep this, organized well. So if you guys are interested, we'll start getting this going. You may already have a neighborhood watch in your area, or that was in your area, but the captain's kind of not there anymore. Something happened with the group, so we can try and restart that, reignite that. That's good that it was in the area because you probably have an interest already there, people that were involved. So let me know, and we've got your emails as well, so we'll start corresponding and try and get this going. I don't have anything more for you this evening. I appreciate you guys coming out, appreciate your time. Got the signs going around.